Hey Body Buds, welcome to another episode of the Body Buddies podcast. I'm Christy Joe, certified personal trainer, fitness nutrition specialist, and author of the Power Foods Lifestyle. Today we are answering a question that came in via email. So this question comes from Carolyn. She says, I've been following PFL, that's Power Foods Lifestyle for those of you who don't know, for 2 weeks now and actually gained weight instead of losing. Is this normal? I've been very careful about portion size, very low carbs, and only having one indulgence meal per week. Any suggestions? Great question. And first and foremost, that's super frustrating when you are working so hard, you're being diligent, you're paying attention, that level of awareness has been heightened, you're food prepping, you're eating on time, and then you step on the scale expecting to see a result and it's not there. So there are definitely some things I'd like to go through, but before I go through these principles, just please know, really, whenever we're dealing with the body, even in academic studies, it's impossible to get to an exact result, an exact outcome, an exact this is what's wrong until you control every parameter and change only one thing. So until I'm working with a person hands-on controlling every little thing of what goes in their body, they're pledging allegiance to my plan, in the name of we will get to a result. Until that happens, I can give you suggestions and you get to become the detective and take them, but I can't guarantee you will find the answer unless you are really, really open to the mindset of you might not get it right your first try. You're going to have to be meticulous and try this and not get emotionally frustrated and throw in the towel because you're not getting an instantaneous result, okay? Unless you're willing to control every parameter to the extent that we get to a solution quickly, just have that mindset that you're going to need to breathe through this, accept the fact that if you don't get a result in a week or two, it's not a failure. You just haven't clicked and dialed things in. So with that said, because that's the number one thing that holds people back, they just give up and it was working. They just need to dial in a few other things, right? So trusting that you're in that space, let me go through some things. We have to remember that in the short term, like 1 or 2 weeks, especially when being super diligent with your food portions, you're really following Power Foods lifestyle strategies of having a protein vegetable anchor. You're either having carbs attached to that anchor or fats attached to that anchor. You're only having a small indulgence meal, whether my abstainer strategy or my moderator strategy, you're following all of these things. Then weight, which when you step on the scale, is not a sign of fat gain. Totally different conversations. It's probably something like water fluctuation, which your body can fluctuate anywhere from about 4 to 7 pounds for females and 5 to 10 pounds for males, especially females due to hormonal fluctuations, including that time of the month. So that's going to be a big thing you have to keep in mind. Next, a lot of it is waste elimination. Okay. Yes, we're going to talk about the big BM. Actually, one of my previous podcasts and YouTube videos was on how to assess your bowel movement. So we talk about this openly. You have to be able to look at the waste coming out if you want to assess what's coming in and the product that the chemical lab of your body is producing. So if you are not having 3 to 4 regular bowel movements a day, then that is probably a reason you're gaining weight. Now, again, remember, gaining weight doesn't mean that you are gaining body fat. It just means that you're heavier. You're holding on to more. And so if this is the case, let's look at a few things. First idea is that your calories, even though you're following Power Foods lifestyle strategies, if in comparison to what you were doing before you started doing Power Foods lifestyle strategies, if you are having more calories, even though it's super healthy, super clean foods, if your caloric intake is more than you were doing before, you will definitely be seeing a fluctuation and a holding on. Your body will be in shock. Anytime you change anything with your food intake, whether it's for good or for worse, it's a process of adaptation. Your body's a miraculous machine that's going to constantly be trying to recalibrate and adapt to whatever variables you're giving it. So yes, even though you suddenly transition to healthy, this is one huge problem we see. 1 to 2 days of eating healthy and a person's like, yay, I should be losing weight. Well, give your body some time. It's got to adapt before it can even start to body composition shift, okay? You have to recognize your body is not this instantaneous, like, whoo. And anytime you see a claim like that, I dropped 5 to 10 pounds, it's water, primarily. It's water. It's that you stopped holding on to water. Anytime you are eating carbohydrates, also, you are going to be holding on to 4 molecules of water per gram of glucose. Now, Carolyn says, I've been really eating low carb. So in Power Foods Lifestyle lingo, that means she's eating predominantly protein, veggie, fat meals, PVF, okay? really fast, I do have to answer this question. Yes, my hair is real. Okay, that is a question that comes in. People are like, do you have extensions? Nope, this is real. Grew this myself. Okay, eat power foods lifestyle. So anyhow, let's go back to, you have to be able to adapt and look at the different things that you have shifted from your body. If you were like before, if you were eating 60 grams of protein, and now, while yes, it is correct and the right principle for a female to be getting about 100 to 120 grams of protein, unless they have a chronic health condition, a kidney, things like that. There's reasons to go lower. But for the average semi-healthy person, you should be doing 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. Okay, so if you suddenly jump from eating 60 grams of protein per day to 100 grams of protein per day, albeit a healthy principle, your body has not yet adapted in 1 to 2 weeks. So your body's probably like still figuring it out, and the plumbing is probably stuck. So let's go through a few Power Foods Lifestyle principles. Number 1, we should not be eating meat more than 3 of those protein servings. Okay, now meat is the palm of your hand. It's 3 to 5 ounces, somewhere in there. For a female, it's like 20 to 30 grams of protein. So that's 3 to 5 ounces of ground turkey, of chicken, of red meat. Next principle, red meat no more than 3 times a week. That's a huge one that will slow down your digestion. And when it's red meat, it better be the right kind, or else I'd rather see you not eat it. Grass-fed meat. If you're eating conventional meat, you are what your meat has eaten. So if your meat ate all this grain-fed, corn-based products, guess what? That's like a very inflammatory way to be eating rather than the grass. So it's a whole omega-3, omega-6 balance topic for another time, but I want you to make sure you are not eating more than 3 servings of red meat. Another one that stops people up is protein bars. They are full of maltodextrin. They are full of all these fillers that will cause havoc in your body. And even though they fit the principles, yeah, you hit the range of the protein and the carbs and the fats. If your body's not used to eating those things, it's probably going to plug up your plumbing. Okay, are you drinking enough water? That's a huge one a lot of people overlook. For the average adult, 70 ounces is a pretty good starting point. If you're super active, if you're super heavy into lifting, you need to get upwards towards 100 ounces per day to 132 ounces per day. That's a gallon. Now, that's not a rule for everyone, but that's a principle off which to start trying and listen to your body. You have to put on that detective's hat to figure out what is working best for your body. We've talked about calories. You might be eating more calories than you were before. It's all about adaptation from what you were doing before to what you're doing now, even though Power Foods Lifestyle principles are where ultimately lifestyle change, healthiness, prevention, reversing of disease, positive brain function, like all these things happen. You still have to adapt your body to it. The next idea is that to get your blood sugar like used to being more stable, especially if you're eating lower carb, you're getting less blood sugar spikes. Okay, carbohydrates are what cause the blood sugar to go up, and then it comes back down. So you're eating more protein, veggie, fat. So good job. You're staying a little more stable. However, this could be a problem if your cortisol is high. Cortisol is a stress hormone. Cortisol secretes when there is too much going on in your life. You're not sleeping enough. You're pushing your body too hard in your workouts. Yes, that's possible. It can also come as a result of too much caffeine intake. High cortisol can also come from underactive thyroid. Now, that's like a chicken or the egg. Which one comes first dance? We will leave that as another topic for another time. But if you have high cortisol, then even though you're eating protein, veggie, fats, you might still be getting insulin spikes. And so not having enough time and steady blood sugar to be burning body fat. Please remember that burning body fat and losing fat to see the scale weight go down really has a delicate balance. You have to be getting enough amino acids to feed the muscles. You have to be getting enough carbohydrates to feed the brain, unless you're going to go full bore ketosis and use ketones for the brain fuel. And you have to be getting enough fats for hormonal regulation. Now, there's 2 very important hormones that you have to understand when we're talking about body composition shifting. Leptin and ghrelin, these regulate your appetite and your satiety. Satiety means satisfaction. Like, do you feel full after you're done? Or you're like, wow, good, I feel full. Or are you like, I'm still hungry? If you're not regulating these 2 hormones, then that's a problem. Now, if you are eating super, super low carb, then you may not be activating the hormone of ghrelin, which stimulates appetite. And so a lot of people can actually not be consuming the amount of calories they need due to the fact they didn't feel hungry, and they've always been taught, listen to your body, which, yeah, it's a good principle. It depends on the strategy. In some cases, you end up under eating calories for a few days, 3 to 4 days, and then all of a sudden you jump up and now you're eating more that can cause a weight increase too on the scale. So there's going to be a lot of reasons for this fluctuation. Look at the indulgence meal timing. Indulgence meals predominantly, most people, you're going to eat a little more sugar, a little more carbs, a little more sodium. All of these things cause you to not only hold on to water because of the sodium content, but because of any carbohydrate molecule that breaks down to glucose. Your body needs 3 to 4 molecules of water to hold that as glycogen in the liver and the muscle sites. So yes, you're pulling more water, and so you're holding more water everywhere. So if you're weighing yourself within 3 days following an indulgence meal, you haven't given your body enough time to regulate. I only recommend weighing 1 time a week. And that's at the most, that's at the highest frequency, unless you are someone so meticulously, tightly working with me that we are literally to the point of pricking your finger every 3 hours with a glucose monitor. Unless you're at that level of working with me, you should not be weighing every day, okay? You will just sabotage your emotions and your mindset. And I highly, highly recommend you not do that if you're looking for the true lifestyle change. Yes, we want to lose weight, but remember, losing body fat weight is about decreasing inflammation in the body. And to decrease inflammation in the body, it must be an adaptation process. You've got to give your body enough time. So biggest takeaway from today, make sure that you're pooping 3 to 4 times a day. If you're not, you may be doing too many vegetables. If you weren't eating vegetables before and suddenly you're following the veggie every meal principle, that's a lot of fiber intake. Your body hasn't adapted. Give it some time. Be calm, be patient, be loving with your body, okay? Making sure that you are timing your meals regularly. If you're eating low carb, like PVF meals and Power Foods Lifestyle, make sure you stick to your meal timing, even if you don't feel like eating, because you will screw up the process if you minimize ghrelin, which ghrelin, again, is the hormone responsible for stimulating appetite. This is dangerous for someone who doesn't have much more than 15 pounds to lose. This is great. Yeah. If you don't feel like eating and you're 150 pounds overweight, I'm fine with that. Okay. But if you're getting to the nitty gritty, and this is where most people get frustrated, is when they only have 15 to 20 pounds to lose and they feel stuck. And this is where they say, well, it's just my genetics. No, it's not. You didn't figure out the science. Okay. You need to work more closely with someone like me who gets it. That is a huge thing there. So we've talked about meat. We've talked about how much meat you should be doing. Guess what? If you guys have been staying on top of the trainings, there is a huge shift in Power Foods Lifestyle, which is if you cannot get a serving of protein at every meal, and you are doing 5 to 6 meals a day, it's okay. Replace the calories, the P, with an F. So that may look like a veggie fat, veggie fat carb. And so you're still getting the same energy nutrients, but you might not be doing the meat. And that's for a lot of people if they're not doing dairy and you can't do that. And then you don't want to buy a protein powder and then you're allergic to eggs. So all you have left is meat. Well, that may mean you only literally have 3 Ps in a day. Yes, other foods have residual proteins, but we do not count them as power proteins until it falls in a 15 to 30 gram range. And it's below the other peak ranges in our carbs and our fats. I discuss all of this science and the formulas in my book, The Power Foods Lifestyle. Please review chapter 4, 5, and 6 on protein, on fats, on carbohydrates. I give you the exact numbers and the exact formulas. I promise this works. I promise it does. But if these things don't work, give it a shot for another 1 to 2 weeks. And if you're still seeing that scale weight go up, then we've got some issue going on that we need to look at more closely. And at that point, I'd highly recommend it's worth it. Get on a coaching call with me. Just know that if you're going to get on a coaching call with me, I expect to have a food diary for the past 3 days. I can't do much. I'll just be spitting out more principles at you if I can't see an exact food plan, exact numbers, exact micronutrients in the body. So just keep that in mind if you ever do a coaching call with me. They're 45 minutes on Skype or on Facebook Messenger. That's what a lot of people do. Anyone in the world, if you speak English, we can do them. I talk with people in the UK quite frequently. Australia is another huge one. And then, of course, anywhere in the United States. Yep, even if you live down the street from me, we're talking online. I run an online business, not an in-person consultation business, okay? All right, I hope this is helpful for you guys. If you want to dive in and start living a Power Foods lifestyle and you want to really start getting that metabolism going, fueling the fires of energy and muscle recovery, you want to grow strong, healthy hair, you want to help your reproductive system, you want to help your brain function, you want to fight Alzheimer's, dementia, you want to reverse type 2 diabetes, I promise you, these principles are your pathway there. Power Foods Lifestyle has a non-definition other than it's a system of principles. So the strategy through which you apply the principles may differ from person to person. There's over 52 strategies of Power Foods Lifestyle here at Body Buddies. So please be careful when you are discussing with me or in our online groups. If you are truly in the Body Buddies community and you're not just dabbling, you need to use the correct lingo. I need to know what strategy you're on. Are you on low carb? Are you on how many meals per day? Are you carb cycling? Are you in keto? Are you on dropped carb? Are you on floating carb? If you don't know these strategies, I highly recommend you start getting in some of my programs where I teach these: the 10-day Power Foods Detox, the PFL Academy, hypothyroidism hacks. I teach all of these systems in a program. So make sure that if the Power Foods Lifestyle Starter Kit, it's a starter kit for a reason. If it's not hacking it for you, you need to get deeper into the education. I'm here for you guys. I love the questions. Keep them coming. Hope this has been helpful. Make sure that you share this with anyone this may be of value to. And of course, we love absolutely the subscribers and reviews. So we shoot straight here. I'm not going to mince words. I'm going to give it to you straight because there's too much hypothetical sharing of this information out there on the web. I don't make it cute and sexy. I just share it, the straight truth that it is. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Power your body, 1 meal, 1 workout, 1 day at a time.